Again, good morning, everyone. Again, wonderful day. And again, we will start as usual. And let yourself relax. And try to make it comfortable. And feel the weight of your body in cushion, chair. And keep your mind on the breath, watching mindfully and being aware as you breathe in and out. And if it helps, you can count with each one inhaling and exhaling up to 10. We can really count from 1 to 10 like that. And then we can try to have a good intention modulations. You can think life can be so uncertain, can change so quickly. In terms of our health, in terms of our situations, in even life could come and suddenly. So unpredictable. In such unpredictable, ever-changing, impermanent life, nature of life, only thing that can help us to deal with all those changes is our practice, our Dharma practice. If we have strong Dharma practice, with the tools of the Dharma practice, we will be able to handle, manage better and also if we have strong Dharma practice, not only it helps us to manage those difficult, challenging, problematic situations better, we will also be able to help, benefit to others as well. And also Dhamma practice will also help us to lead closer and closer to our full potential, fully awakened state. Therefore, I must put more effort towards Dhamma practice. In order to practice, we need to study, learn, and reminded of the practice for that very purpose that we have come here to listen, to engage in discussions, reflection, contemplations. And there's nothing more important to really practice the Dharma in our life. And may our act of coming here together, listening, engaging in discussion, reflection, contemplations, and all the study practice we do in our everyday life, may all of this become cause and condition to achieve fully awakened state. So not only we can be temporary help and benefit to others, but we can be greatest lasting help and benefit, and not only for a few, but for each and every sentient beings. Okay.
Refuge in bodhicitta, once in English, twice in Tibetan. For refuge until I'm enlightened
to the Buddha,
the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the
my
merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye Sadan Sogi Chonam La Chanchu Padu Dani Kyatsu Che Dagi Che Gibe Sonam Rola Pende Sangye Joba Sangye Chodan Sogi Chonam Ba Chanchu Padu Dani Kyatsu Che Dagi Che Gibe Sonam Rola Pende Sangye Joba Hanje Dujanye Zone, Tawadam Jebang Beje, Tampechune Tunjepe, Kodam de la Chao Sa Lo. So we have been discussing about 12 dependent link for quite a while, and maybe so as Buddha explained in the Right Settling Sutras, the ignorance, which like the farmer, the ignorance which like the farmer plant, the seed of karma or actions into the garden or farm of consciousness, and that consciousness, the seed of the consciousness in the garden being activated by the water and fertilizer of craving and grasping, and having activated the seed by the craving and grasping, then that seed is fully activated and ready to produce the result. So the becoming, that fully the seed fully activated, where it is ready to produce the result next moment, very second, and through that, then those are the 6 cause from the 12 link, the 6 cause, like the farmer, the ignorance, like the seed, the karmic seed, the second, the karmic seed that is planted in the garden of consciousness, the third one. At the time of death, such karmic seed, especially here, projecting or throwing karmic seed, is being activated by the water, fertilizer, or craving and grasping, the 9 and 10, not 8 and 9. And having, activated fully with the craving and grasping, then on the 10th, what it existing and becoming, then all the conditions have come together, all the cause conditioning together to produce the
result, the next moment. And then as a result, in the next life, then you have the sixth result, name and form, when you have the conceptions, and then once you have that conceptions from that moment, then your sense faculty started to develop, and then having the sense faculty develop, there's the objects, there's the consciousness, and there's the sense faculty, and through all three coming together, then contact is produced in relation to the objects. So the consciousness is able to contact with the objects through the sense faculty, and having come contact with the objects, then feeling arises, and also at the conceptions, also the birth has started, new life, new birth have started, and from the very second moment of that birth or conceptions, then aging and death started. So through that, then those are 12 links. Then those 6 results are then produced in next, and that is how one complete. That is how one complete one set of 12 links. One set of 12 links. And in order to complete one set of 12 links, it takes minimum 2 life, maximum 3 lifetime. So again, for example, in this life, I create, starting with the ignorance, a negative, strong, complete negative karma, and then, that karmic seed is left in consciousness. So 3, and those negative karma, let's say, to reborn in one of the lower rebirths. So I create out of ignorance one strong, complete negative karma, and that negative karma is planted in the consciousness. So 3 links, and at the time of death, before dying, at the time of death, then through craving and grasping, I activate that karmic seed. And then having activated the karmic seed, by craving and grasping, then existence is produced. So 4, 6 causes are completed here. And then next, you have the next rebirth in, let's say, in one of the lower rebirth, and then the 6th result I experienced there. So in these cases, it takes 2 lifetimes to complete that karmic circle of one set. In other cases, I create that same karma out of ignorance, the strong, complete negative karma, karmic seed is left in the consciousness. At the time of death, instead of activating this karmic seed, maybe another karmic seed will be activated through craving and grasping. Instead of this karmic seed, maybe a karmic seed to be reborn in a high rebirth might be activated. Okay? So in these cases, this particular 12 link of set, only 3 is complete in this lifetime. Ignorance, karma, and that karmic seed left in consciousness, but it has never activated in this life. And then next lifetime, or maybe life after that, it might take next life itself, or it could be after 3 lifetime, 10 lifetime, but in one of life, this karmic seed will be activated at the time of death. So then in that lifetime, at the time of death, then craving, grasping, and existence in relation to these karmic seeds is activated. And then the next one, then the result, 6 results are experienced. So in these cases, it took 3 lifetimes. So either it takes 3 lifetimes or either it takes 2 lifetimes to complete the whole circle of one, or whole circle or set of one 12 link. And of course, I used a negative example, but it is also a positive example. Out of ignorance, we create a contaminated positive karma, and that karmic seed is planted in consciousness. And at the time of death, that karmic seed is activated by craving, grasping. And then when it's fully activated, becoming, and then I experience the next lifetime, higher rebirth, and the 6 result in that time, in these cases, 2 lifetime. Or I could create this positive karma out of ignorance, contaminated positive karma, complete karma, and karma is planted in consciousness. But at the time of death, this karmic seed will not be activated this time. Maybe another karma will be activated. So only 3 completed in this lifetime. And then maybe the very next life, or after 2 life, or after 3 life, or 10 life, 100 life, or after 1,000 lifetime, this karma seed be activated through craving and grasping and becoming. And then again, it took 2 life to complete the 6 cause. And then the next one, then 6 results are experienced. So those results, 6 results are experienced in one lifetime all the time. In terms of the cause, there are 2 causes, what we call throwing cause or projecting cause and completing cause. And those can be completed in 1 lifetime or 2 lifetimes. And so that is in terms of how many lives it takes to complete 1 circle or 1 set of the 12 link. So in maximum 3 lifetime, minimum 2 lifetime. Into the completing. So okay. So the other one today I want to kind of touch on is if whoever is hosting, if they can show the wheel of the life, the picture of the wheel of the life, I think it is in the material, part of that material. Yeah, I don't know whether it might be too small for many of you to see the details, but where? No, to me? No. Yeah, I will. I'm here. I don't need to see. Oh. Okay. Yeah. But it's okay. I think you can go home and again listen, and then you can have your picture and look at if you want to see more details. And again, and having the image, such as this painting, sometimes for some people it helps them to remember more easily when you have that kind of image. We talk about 12 link for many weeks, but maybe it's already out of your mind. We forget very quickly, but when we have an image, the image stay, especially for some people, it stay more strong, and so, and a little kind of history about this image is that according to some scholars, earlier scholars, according to some of the commentary scholars, this image was created at the time of Buddha. Probably not exactly same. Of course, artists had made it more, a little bit kind of over the time, more, but general image. And the story was that, there was one king, Dharma king, King Bimsara, who was king in the, the middle. It is called Magadha at that time, that kingdom, and is where the Bodh Gaya and those are. And he got a gift. He was sent a gift by another king, Udayana, a precious, jewel, very precious jewel. He sent him a gift. And then King Bimsara wanted to kind of send him another gift, even better gift back to him. But he couldn't think of what to send, what will be the most helpful or something special gift for him. So he asked to the Buddha. King Bimsara was one of the follower of the Buddha, sponsor of the Buddhas and his followers, So anyway, he requested the Buddha if he can give any suggestion, any advice, what will be best for him to send something precious to his friend king. And Buddha suggests to create this image and send him. Again, I don't know whether Buddha gives its details of that, but he gave the general ideas, to inspire the other king to develop renunciation and to lead him in the path. So Buddha saw that he has the potential, he has the karmic seed, and if he can see something that can kind of inspire him to go in the path of the Dharma and to develop renunciation. So on the basis of Buddha's advice, and that image was created, and then he sent that. And it is said the King Oriana, because he has a strong karmic seed from the past, strong Dharma karmic seed. Also, he has some high respect for the Buddha Shakyamuni, and because it is through the advice of Buddha Shakyamuni that it was. And so when he saw the image, something really changed his mind, transformed his mind, started to feel, essenceless of the samsara, and inspirations towards the liberation and to free from the samsara. So it really, transformed his heart, really changed his heart. And so it is said that is how it was started, according to some of the earlier scholars, commentators. So this is just a little bit, and it is said the Buddha advised, to have that image where people can see. And most of the monasteries have, most of the Tibetan monasteries, they have by the door, by the door painting of that. Most of the monasteries will have that. It looks a little fearful. So if you see, there are 4 circles here. There's 4 circles. And within this, then it teaches 12 link and 4 noble truth. Okay, within this, the 4 noble truth and 12 link. And 12 link is kind of expansion of 4 noble truth. 4 noble truth is how we get tied up, caught up in samsara, and then how to get out of samsara. The cause and effect of how we get in samsara, and the cause and effect of how to get out of samsara. Whereas 12 link then is the expansions of the first 2, the first cause and effect of how we get into samsara. Due to what cause lead to that samsaric result. So in this image, there is a lot that. I don't know whether I want to start from the outside or from inside. Since we have been talking about 12 link, maybe I will start with that. So that at a very bigger circle, the 4th circle, the bigger circle, then there is 12, what you call, frame or instance or pictures, okay? And at the very beginning, if you are on the right side of that, on the very top, you see someone with the pictures might not be so clear, but you see someone with a stick walking. It's a blind person. It's a blind person's walking with a stick. Okay? So that symbolizes and represents the first link, the ignorance. Out of ignorance, out of ignorance, we are not aware, what is to be abandoned, what is to be practiced, the ignorance to the karma, as well as ignorance to the ignorance of the karma coming from ignorance of the ultimate truth. Due to that ignorance, then without knowing where we will be going next life, we are thrown by karma here and there, different realms, different experiences, different part of the samsara. I don't know where my next life is going to be. I'm not aware how that is going to be, and so on. And due to similarly, just like that, this blind person, who doesn't see clearly where he might be going in the right direction or not right directions, and all of that. Maybe nowadays, maybe with the technology, we have a little bit better in certain places, but so that is like the ignorance, the first. Second one, you see someone pottery, making a pot, with the clay, making a pot, so the pottery makes clay, with clay, different size of pots, different shapes, different from different whatever materials, in the same way, we create different karmas, sometimes positive karma, sometimes negative karma, sometimes neutral karma, sometimes incomplete karma, sometimes it's complete karma. So all different kind of karma, just like different shape and size, different type of karma. So that is the second link, karmic formations. So just as all the pods are not same size, same color, same shape, not all the karma are same. There are very different karma that we create. And third one is a monkey, jumping from one branch to another branch. So sometimes you see term monkey mind, because monkey mind, our mind cannot stay stable. Our mind wander up here and there all the time, unable to focus and stay stable at one thing. They become very busy, just like the monkeys. Have you watched monkey? It's hard to see them staying still. Every time you see, most time they are so doing something active, It's like in where my parents are, there are so many monkeys around that area. And sometimes aggressive too. So anyway, and so that is monkey mind. So here, just as the monkey jump from one branch, another branch, and enjoying doing that, another branch, similarly, out of ignorance, karmic seed is created, and then that's planted in the consciousness. And that consciousness, carrying the karmic seed, go from one to another lifetimes, coming from branch of last consciousness from past, carrying the karma to present, and from present to the futures. So just as monkey jumping from one branch to another branch, the consciousness carrying the karmic seed come from past to the present, present to the future, from future to the another futures, and like that. So that is the third. In the fourth picture, you see here 3 peoples on a board. Oh, what do you call it? Board? Yeah. It is a board, and especially in the old times, the old times. Of course, we are talking about the old times. So that is so, and they are rowing the boats, and so they are going from the oceans or from the river to the another shore, another place in the row. Similarly, that one is the fourth, the link, name and form. Just as the persons is, going from one place to another place, carrying that, same way, with our karmic seat in the consciousness, and then, we move to the new life, shore of another new life through the intermediate stage. Through the intermediate stage, going to the other shore of life through the name and form. So just as here, in order to someone to go through one to another, they need so many conditions. The boat and the water, whether it's a river, oceans, the things to row, all of that. Similarly, in order the functioning of the name and form, you need the five aggregates. So those are the 5 aggregates. The name and the form. The aggregate of form and aggregate of the name, which are the feeling, discriminating or distinguishing mind, compositional factor mind, and consciousness. So that it, and next pictures. So name and form is the fourth link. And the fifth link you see, from far distance, there's an empty house with an empty window. Empty house with an empty window. And that is the fifth link, the sense faculties. Sense faculties by themselves are like empty. They cannot, experience the objects without, depending on the object and the consciousness. So just by sense faculty itself is unable to function to perceive or to experience the objects, So it's like empty without depending on the consciousness and the objects. So it's very much dependent on the object of consciousness for the sense faculty to function its functionings, So that is the sense faculties. 5 sense faculties. And next one, you can see two couples sleeping together. So that is the 6. That's a contact. So just as the two couple are physically in contact, and similarly, even you have developed the 6 senses at that point, still, until you meet the objects, you cannot contact the objects. And so once you meet the object, then you are able to contact. Then once you contact the objects, then consciousness experience, receive the objects through the contact. And also, as you mentioned, also the contact, the function of also contact also is kind of, interpreting objects, positive, negative, neutral, so forth. So that is 6. And the next one, again, I don't think you can see the picture clear even here. It is a person's picture with the arrow on his eyes. Arrow on his eyes. You can see the arrow. So, yeah, I think he's holding like almost like arrow like this. It's very close to the eyes here. It doesn't freak to the eyes, but it's like arrow being hit on the eyes. So when the arrow hit your eyes or any part of your body, then there is pain, there is suffering, the feeling of the pain, the feeling of the sufferings. So that is the next feelings. After the contact, coming in contact with the objects, then you have the feeling. So that is what it represents, symbolize, feeling of pain through that arrow, being hit by the arrow, then there is a pain. And so then, as we mentioned before, within the feeling, then there is pleasant feeling or feeling of happiness, unpleasant feeling, feeling of suffering, and neutral feelings. So that symbolizes the feelings. Next one, you have someone pictures with, alcohol, alcohol bottle around him and not glass, but it's in a container. So he's drinking alcohol, Chang in local. In Tibetan they're called Chang. So that represents craving, the age. Alcohol is something, when you drink, there is some kind of substance, kind of addictiveness, wanting more and more. That is what craving is. Craving is craving, just as the alcohol has this some kind of substance or energy that make you addictive. And once you started drinking, wanting more and more, unless you really control it, there is that. And so same is the craving attachments, and then when you become addictive, then that creates a lot of problem for yourself or others. It could destroy you, can destroy others. Definitely create a lot of problem to you, and others. In the same way, when we are become obsessed by the attachment and craving, then that craving, bring a lot of pain and suffering to oneself, and also we can create a lot of problem to others as well due to that craving. So that next one, you have the monkey on the tree picking the mangoes or whatever fruit it is. Okay. So the monkey is taking one fruit, let's say mango, taste it, throw it, get it, taste it, throw it, take it next one, taste it, throw it. That's what, taste this, hoping the other ones are better. And taste it, eat it, and throw it, again, hoping the other ones are more sweeter or better. And so that's the grasping, the ninth link. When you are craving, and when craving becomes stronger and stronger, and as we said before, when we don't apply the tools, practice, of course, if you apply the tools, practice, maybe even the craving was there, you can stop there. It doesn't have to be intense, very strong. You might be able to stop craving from becoming too strong, too intense. But when we don't apply the tools, right, practice meditation, or when we don't know the tools, or even when we know, if we don't apply, or even we try to apply, sometimes we don't apply correctly. We try to meditate, but we are not correctly. We are trying to apply something, but we are and so when that happens, then the craving increase and become more stronger and more intensified, and that is what the grasping, and then become grasping, craving to grasping, much more stronger, much more intense, much more powerful craving, and part of that is more stronger clinging and grasping, and so that is the grasping, that like the mango, when your craving is so strong, when that craving become grasping and become very intense and strong, and then no matter what you have, never happy, never satisfied, always thinking, I will be more happy, I will be more satisfied if I get that one. And when we get that one, again, not being happy and satisfied, and always feeling, I will be happy and satisfied if I get the other ones. So you keep on putting your goalpost further and further, unable to reach that goalpost. You feel like you reach there, and then again, not happy and satisfied. Feel like, if I get that one, I will be more happy and satisfied. And it's like, just like a mango trying one, and the monkey trying the mango and throwing each of them. So that is the grasping. Next one, there's pictures of a woman, lady, What is that picture? Anything? Do you see anything special? Well, I think maybe the artist didn't do so well. It's a pregnant. So I think, huh? So it's a pregnant, okay? And so this symbolizes the becoming, the 10 link, existing becoming, when due to the craving and grasping, when the karmic seed is fully potentialized and to produce the result next. So the pregnant, is like fully pregnant, I don't know, 9 months or how many ever, and is ready to give the birth, any moment. Ready to give birth any moment. That symbolizes the 10th link that exists in the becoming. The karmic seed has been now fully potentialized and fully activated to produce the result, the next life, any moment, any times, So that represents, becoming the pregnant. No, I mean, that couple in bed, I don't know whether it's a Buddha's advice or the artist, is basically is a contact. It's just showing as contact. It doesn't have to be in the bed to have a contact. But that was maybe you have better image, I don't know. And next one is a mother giving a birth. Next one is a mother giving a birth. Okay? So that symbolizes the 11th link, the birth. Okay? The birth. So that is kind of more easier, and then next one, someone is carrying something. What are they carrying? Yeah, is carrying a dead body, corpse. Okay, so that symbolizes the 12 link, aging and death, and aging and then of course carrying a dead body. So that's is not so definite. So that is, and as I mentioned before, aging, there are two kinds of aging: progressive aging and deteriorating aging. Progressive aging starts from the very moment birth, from that very moment. So aging already starts from that. And then eventually, with the deteriorating aging, then eventually leading to the end of life and then the death. And of course, it will be something else. Nothing continued after the death, but it continues. The consciousness continues, carrying the karmic seed, and then again, having go through birth and all things, whole circle again. And that is the part that we should be more scared of. It's kind of endless. Even if it's painful, even if there's a lot of suffering, problem, if there's a limit to that, it is easy to handle it. I can handle a few days. I can handle a few weeks. But if I have to handle many years, it will be more difficult. whole life. So here, that is where, samsara, endless cycle existence samsara, unless we stop the samsaric birth, unless we stop the samsaric birth. Of course, it can be stopped. The good news is that it can be, we don't have to circle endlessly and go through it again and again and again endlessly. We don't have to, but that is what we have been doing so far, But we can stop that endless circle by stopping the ignorance. By stopping the ignorance, How we stop ignorance? By cultivating the wisdom. By cultivating the wisdom. If we can stop the ignorance, then you don't have to create karma that is motivated by the ignorance. If you don't create karma that is motivated by the ignorance, then that can't be, throwing karma that throws into our samsara rebirth. So there is no more, you don't create any more new throwing karma into samsara and give a samsara birth, And if there is no more karma, throwing karma, or projecting karma being created, there is no karmic seed to plant it in the consciousness. If there is no more samsaric karmic planted in the karmic consciousness, then there is no more consciousness carrying that karmic seed. If there's no more that karmic seed, there's no more, karma to be activated by the craving and grasping, and then there is no more karmic seed that is being fully potentialized. And if there is no karma fully potentialized, then there is no new samsara rebirth, there is no name and form. If there is no name and form, there is no more six senses and contact, karmic six senses in contact. Without that, there is no more contaminated feelings. And when there's no more samsara rebirth, there's no more aging, death, sickness, all others. All others that comes because of the karmic, because of samsara rebirth, because of the samsara rebirth. All the problem we have is because of the samsara rebirth. Whether it's in mental level, whether it's a physical level. On physical level, if we don't eat, we have a problem. If we eat, also problem. A lot of illness, sickness come from eating, too much, incorrect, eating something too much, eating something less, different that we need. So our bodies, if it's too hot, we suffer. If it's too cold, we suffer, Because this is the result of karma, contaminated karma, because of the result of contaminated karma and the delusions. So therefore, it has a lot of problem. It has a lot of problem because the cause that produced that is not something great, it's still contaminated. And because of that, and then same with our mind, same with our mind, When we don't have something, we miss it. When we get that, then it started to be a problem. It started to be a problem after some time. it becomes cause of another problems, and again we feel like we need something else, and we miss that, and we try to get that, and even we are successful in getting that after some time, but again we are not satisfied and happy. Again, that become another source of problem and conflict, and that keep on going all through the life. And that way we suffer. So therefore, the way to end the samsara, all the suffering, is by ending the samsaric rebirth. And the way to end the samsaric rebirth is by ending the ignorance, by cutting the ignorance. And the way to do is, through the Eightfold Path, or another way, the practice of ethical discipline, meditate concentration, and wisdom, and more mainly the actual direct antidote that can cut the ignorance permanently is the wisdom realizing the emptiness directly. The wisdom realizing the ultimate reality of truth directly. And that is the way to end the 12 link, and thereby ending the samsara and the suffering of samsara. So that's a choice we have, whether we want to follow the ignorance or one put effort not to follow ignorance by putting effort to cultivate the wisdom to cut and destroy the ignorance. And those two different paths lead to different results. One lead to liberation and one lead to samsara. So there's two paths. One path is follow the ignorance, just as we have been doing in the past. Another choice or another path is not to follow that ignorance, instead follow the path of the wisdom. And if you follow the path of the wisdom, then it leads to different directions of nirvana, liberations. If you follow the ignorance, then that is what the continued samsaric birth and the suffering of samsara. So that is the first, the most outer circle, the fourth one. And then next circle, the third circle, you see there are 6. Sometimes there are 5, sometimes there is 6. Here there is 6. And that represents 6 rams. Okay, 6 rams. Sometimes you see 5, and so in that 5, then God and demigod are kind of put in one category. Then in that, sometimes you see 5, sometimes you see 6, sometimes you see 5, and that is the difference. When they put together, then God and demigod ram is kind of count. They put together, and with each of them, with their individual, you see individual showing individual sufferings of individuals rams. So within the samsara, when you take a rebirth, we take in one of those 6 rams. One of those 6 rams. And within each of those 6 rams, everyone is suffering, experiences certain level of suffering. Of course, some experience more suffering, some experience less suffering relatively, but everyone is experiencing some level of suffering. In some realm, they are experiencing all suffering of pain, suffering of change suffering of all pervasive. In some realms, they don't have suffering of pain, but they have suffering of change and suffering of all pervasive. And in some realms, they don't have suffering of pain, they don't have suffering of change, but they have suffering of all pervasive. So, but everyone is experiencing at least the suffering of all pervasive. So therefore, no one in the samsara is fully free from all the suffering, or completely free from all the sufferings. Even in our cases, sometimes we suffer all these suffering, three suffering at the same time. Sometimes we experience two suffering at a time, and sometimes we only experience suffering of all pervasive. Sometimes let's say I'm having a headache, or pain in my body, whatever, or suffering with diarrhea or stomach ache or headache. That is suffering of pain. While I'm experiencing that suffering of pain, I'm trying to eat something, and that something I ate change into sufferings after some time. Maybe at the very beginning when I ate it, it gave me some pleasure, a little bit of happiness, but then something was wrong with that, and my stomach started to make a noise and have now it started to change. The joy I was feeling 5 minutes ago, gone, now is pain. Suffering of change, that contaminated pleasure or samsaric pleasure you felt is no more there, it has changed into suffering. So while I'm experiencing the headache, the suffering of pain, still that is changing. And all pervasive suffering, because this very aggregate is a result of contaminated karma and delusion. That itself is suffering. And being under the control of the delusions and karma, that itself is suffering, pervasive suffering. And that is always there, until we are free from all the delusions. And so therefore, so here in this painting, you see individuals, the artists with the individual suffering of those different suffering of those of individual different realm sufferings. I don't think we need to go each of them. And the next, the third one from the outside, the third circle, you see half white, half black, and then the white side, you see people going up, and on the black side, the animal or people going downwards. So that symbolizes, the white symbolizes white karma or positive karma. The black symbolizes black or negative karma. And those who are going up, when you engage into positive karma, white karma, then, you go upwards, making progress in terms of your, your path, even in terms of, even within the samsaric realm or samsara rebirth, you have higher rebirth, and not only higher rebirth, you make more progress on your spiritual path and getting closer and closer to the nirvana, to the liberations. On the other hand, when we follow a negative karma, when we engage in negative karma,
within the samsara, you are more like, due to that negative karma, you are more likely to have a, unfortunate rebirth where there's more suffering and pain, less opportunity to practice the Dharma, and also, you get more and more distant from your spiritual progress, from more and more distant from liberation and enlightenment, and so that is what it symbolizes. So then in the middle, you see three animals, pig and bird and snake. And that pig, those symbolize the delusions. The pig symbolizes the ignorance, the bird symbolizes the attachment or craving, and then the snake symbolizes the anger. So these are what we call three poisonous. Sometimes you see term three poisonous or the three root delusions. And even you most of painting also here the bird and snake coming out of the mouth of the pig, and that symbolizes the attachment and anger coming from the ignorance. So ignorance is the very root. Sometimes certain artists food from one to another, but this is more accurate that you find in teachings where the both anger and attachment coming from the mouth of the ignorance of the pig. Sometimes the artists, they just make it more beautiful, and sometimes they don't really understand exactly. So due to these three root delusions, okay, that is the beginning, very circle, due to three root delusions, attachment, anger, ignorance. Then next one, you create positive karma and the negative karma, you create the karma. And due to that contaminated karma, whether it's positive or negative, because you are still creating contaminated karma because it's motivated by those delusions. So even positive is still contaminated. And because of that, then your resolve is rebirth in one of those six realms. Due to positive contaminated karma, high rebirth. Due to negative karma, and low rebirth. And then when you take a rebirth in cyclic existence in any of the six realms, then you go through the 12 link, And so, that is, how it starts. And then this scary guy symbolized death, Lord of death, death impermanent. So he's saying, all these six realms, as long as you are in six realms, as long as you are not free from the samsara, as long as in samsara six, you are never free from the Lord of the dead, or you are not free from the death, the impermanent of the dead. We have to experience the death no matter, So you are always under the clutches and the fang of the death, impermanent all the time. And so it is just like, that in a fang, it doesn't, if your hand is in the tigers or fang, you never know when they are to close and bite it or not. Similarly here is, we never know when the death is going to come, It will come, it's under that, under that control, but we never know when it's going to close and bite, So that symbolizes the death impermanent. And then on the left side, when you're looking, there is the moon.
it is in the cloud. Normally, they shouldn't have the cloud, but it's okay. Because with the cloud, you cannot see the full moon. And sometimes some artists also kind of paint half moon, but actually, really, it has to be full moon. And that one symbolizes the cessations, nirvana, the cessation, the full moon. And Buddha showing hand towards that. The Buddha is showing hand towards that moon, saying that is the cessations. That is the cessations. So here, the cessations is shown by the moon, full moon. Okay, and then the path that lead to cessations is at the very down in the red. You see there's two verses. There are two verses that is written there in Tibetan. And again, that was also, of course, Buddha advised to write. And that is the path. And in that, what it says, make effort, make effort in your practice by entering the Buddha Dharma and then destroy all the delusions, And by destroying the delusion, then eliminate the Lord of Death. Like an elephant destroy a grass hut, mud or grass hut, which is very unstable. The elephant can just knock it down. The white elephant can just knock it down. Similarly, just as the wild elephant will knock down the grass or mud house easily, same way, by entering the Dharma, by actualizing the Dharma within yourself, by making an effort, then you can destroy the delusions, and by destroying the delusions, you destroy the lot of death, and then there's no more death. Because there will be no more samsara rebirth. There's no more samsara rebirth. There's no more death. And the other verse is here: whoever takes a practice of Vinaya with a great consciousness, with a great mindfulness, awareness, will abandon the cycle of rebirth and bring an end to suffering. And so that is the verse, the two verses that is there. So that is here. The way is saying the way to achieve the cessations is by engaging in a practice of Vinaya, is moral discipline. On the basis of moral discipline, then you develop with the effort, meditative concentration, samadhi, and having developed the samadhi, then you develop the wisdom realizing emptiness, and through wisdom realizing emptiness, then you destroy the delusions, and having destroyed the delusion, you destroy the karma, and having destroyed the karma, there is no more samsara rebirth, and when there is no more samsara rebirth, there is no more suffering, and that is the end of the suffering and the cause of suffering. And when it is the end of the suffering and cause of suffering is the cessation and nirvana. So with that, then it explains the Four Noble Truth and the 12th link. So yeah, with that, maybe I will conclude. I can take a couple of questions if there is any. There, backwards.
Between his feet are some strange things, like claws and tails.
Yeah, there seems to be some. Yeah, it's part of that. Scary. I guess maybe it's just scary. Even like the artists make a lot, like even with 5 sculpt. In the original, the Buddha's Vinaya teaching, they don't say that. I think it's just nowadays, because they see in like protectors, so maybe or idams, and they just put it because they think it's same. But normally in that, so there are a lot of things that sometimes the artists just create, and then sometimes it's not very close to what. But anyway, so that is part of that. He's a kind of scary guy with a almost look like the tail of the not lion, tiger, with a tiger skin and like that. Yeah. Yes, please.
What is the bardo?
Yeah, bardo is intermediate stage. What we call intermediate stage. Bardo is Tibetan word. Par means kind of in middle. Bardo means intermediate stage. So when one of the sentient beings die from any of the realms, not all the sentient beings, but like let's say human beings, animals, and after we die, before we take new rebirth, we go through what we call bardo intermediate stage, and that intermediate stage is looking for the next rebirth, and so there's another being, like kind of a spirit being, bardo beings, and that has very light body, unlike like our body, and because of that, they can travel without any kind of obstruction by other objects, and so in that intermediate stage, of course, after that they could find a rebirth within a few seconds, within a few moments, or they can last for 1 week, and due to karma, they cannot find within the intermediate stage, they die and take another intermediate stage rebirth, bardo rebirth, and again looking for next rebirth. And then again, that can go up to 49 days, 7 weeks. Then it is said after 49 days, by karma, definitely they will find a new rebirth in one of the 6 realms, any of the 6 realms. And so that being, from the death of this body, this life, until they find a new life within the 6 realms, there is another, you take another, another form of life, intermediate stage, bardo beings. So that is what bardo.
Susan, thank you for these teachings. The answer to this might be obvious, but find it. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The answer to this might be obvious, but my mind can't find it. So I'm trying to relate this teaching so that we're all going toward the path to liberation rather than towards suffering, with the bodhisattva vow of I vow to remain as long as other beings remain and are suffering. So is there a non-samsaric rebirth then, or my mind can't connect those two?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely there is no samsara rebirth, bodhisattvas, first of all, arhat. Okay, once you achieve arhat, when you are free from all the delusion and karma, contaminated karma. After that, all the rebirth you have is not samsara rebirth. Okay, not only the arhat, even the bodhisattvas, the bodhisattvas coming to the samsaric world is out of compassion. It's not out of thrown by karma and delusion like we, they intentionally make choice to come to help and benefit, So that kind of rebirth is not same like the samsara ordinary rebirth, especially when you reach, path of seeing, bodhisattvas, and then you don't create any more new throwing karma, and then those bodhisattvas definitely, they are not thrown by the cause that we talk about, karmic rebirth, which is the delusion and karma, but it is out of compassion. So therefore, all the rebirth are not samsara rebirth, not all the, yeah. I think about it, yes. Yeah. Which one? In normally, there's no really link to the 12 link. The pardo is kind of, sometimes they are excluded from somehow 6 realms. It's, because they are in between, before from one realm to another realms. So they are in between. So of course, within the different commentary, there are slightly different interpretations of that. In some commentary, it said the pardos, even though they don't have physical body, but they have a kind of very light body. But the shape of the body, according to some, they say it is like the next rebirth. Some they say like the previous rebirth. So there are some different explanations on that, but definitely they are not. If you really try to kind of, the part of the human beings may be counted within the human beings. The part of animals can be counted with the animals, but of course they are not really animals. They are not really human beings, So anyway, but in terms of pure link, the pardo is not part of that. Nations. Yeah, this will be the last kind of questions. Oh.
Geshe,
She wanted you to prostrate. That's how she did the trick.
I do prostrate to Mary often.
She did the trick.
Know. She knows. Anyway, but I have a kind of a big, higher level question. It's not necessarily about the 12 links. But you mentioned that a different scholars say different, like have certain different interpretations of like for example, the Barda. This is just one example. Right?
Yeah.
So my question is, I've always wondered this, and this is maybe a stupid question. There's so many beings who have attained Buddhahood, Bodhisattvahood, and so on, right? So things like this, like what does the Bardo look like? What does the form look like in the Bardo, and so on? Shouldn't we know that by now? Like, shouldn't they have told us? Like, why is there controversy about what the Bardo is like, right? Because there's so many beings who already know this stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, Buddha, there are so many beings, including Buddha Shakyamuni, who know what are the true reality, but we still have a conflict. Different scholars, different beings have different interpretation of what the true reality. Even among the Buddhists, 4 schools of thoughts, and they have different view on what the. So Buddha can say something, but they are being whether they take that literally or not. Let's say enlightened beings comes, okay, and says something, but not everyone might believe that being, and even believe in, they might take the word differently.
So what you're saying is that there is, like, if you take the 4 schools, for example, so there is the highest school, which is the
Mind Holy School.
I mean the Prasangika, right?
Uh-huh,
the highest school, which is the let's say the truth. I don't know what the word is. So what you're saying is various people or various scholars who debate among them about these points about the 4 schools and the Bardo and so on, it's basically based on their capacity to understand.
Yes. They all believe Buddha Shakyamuni to be a Buddha. All those schools of thoughts, or all the founder of those school of thoughts, they all believe the Buddha Shakyamuni to be a Buddha. But when they read his teachings, sutras, and depending on, because Buddha has taught slightly different at different time according to different people's needs, different people understanding. So then, then they are trying to, can I take this literally or do? And so that is where they have a different view. Some says what he said in this sutra is literal. You can take it literally, and the one he said in other sutra was interpretive. He said because of this reason and because of that person, according to that. Some other scholars doesn't. No, that is not the case. It is the other way around. This sutra, what he said, this is his ultimate thoughts, and what he said, he gave it to according to the need of that sentient beings at that time. So it is then the different way of capacity interpreting things, and so it is even someone's enlightened being come and say something here, tomorrow is going to happen this and that. Some people believe, some people wouldn't believe it. And due to different things, due to karma, maybe sometimes you cannot believe it to something, or due to your own interpretation, due to your own understanding. So that is, even one enlightened beings come and know exactly, can predict what is going to be tomorrow, and even they announce it, not everyone's going to believe that. Not everyone is going to follow that. If that was so simple, then of course, all problem will have been solved. Buddha will have predicted everything and we all follow it and no problem. Even the enlightened being predicts something, not everyone will believe that. Not everyone follow that because either their karma, their perceptions, their capacities due to all of that, Yeah. And that will be the sense with, I think, maybe that can be sensed with the science too. Even there is proof, not everyone believe that. Even among the scientists, they might not believe that or agree with that. Some of them still have caution. Some still have different views, different theories. So sometimes we feel, if there's enlightenment, everything is solved. Or if the science, there is a proof of that, everyone should agree to that. You can't force everyone to agree. Some people have a different way of seeing it, and they read differently. And still there are people who think, people have never been to the moon. It's just saying that there was the moon and people have been the moon is, even after so many years, no matter how much evidence you showed, that wouldn't make them change their mind, believing that wasn't the moon that people went, it was something else. And that is one example. There's many examples. So just because some enlightened beings say it, that everyone's going to agree with and believe that. Just because there's a science proof something, that means that everyone's going to agree and everyone's going to accept that. There's always going to be different opinion, different understanding, and yeah. Okay, we do the dedications.
Master Shantideva, may all be plagued by sufferings and obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits.
May no living creature suffer from it evil or evil fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with the mind wisdom by depression. May the blind see forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth, and those with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicine be effective, wholesome prayer bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be free from their ailments. Whatever disease they are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be free. May the powerless find power, and may people know fitting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thank you. And then I think maybe Mary might have already announced. And next week, Ishitashi Tundup is coming. And I think you will all continue to attend the teachings, continue to studies, and continue to practice, regardless of whoever's teachings. We all are just passing the message of the Buddhas or from the community. I'm not sharing from my experience or my new findings, or same with Geshe Tashi or anyone. We just are sharing what Buddha says and Nagarjuna says, all those great masters. It's the same message. There might be a slightly different way of presenting it, but it's the same Buddha's teaching, Buddha's message. And so I hope and encourage everyone to continue to study and practice. Okay, thank you.